There's been a lot of changes that's actually happened with the NCLEX exam this year, or I should say this past, 10, 12 months. But one of the things that hasn't changed is kind of like the nursing students, if you will, almost like an obsession with what is this minimum number of questions. And so in this video, I'm going to answer one specific question related to that, and that is, can you fail the NCLEX in 75 questions, in the minimum number of questions? Hey everyone, this is Thomas from Nurse Money Talk, and the direct answer to this question that you're probably wondering is, can you fail the NCLEX in 75 questions? Yes, technically you can. I think most nursing students are prepared enough to where they probably won't fail, because if you look at, just kind of like how the NCLEX is scored, so if we go ahead and draw it, ignore the horrible drawing. And so what ends up happening is, like, you'll keep getting questions that are asked to you. And so as you get those questions, if you answer those questions correctly, you'll get a harder question. If you answer it incorrectly, you'll get an easier question. And so you'll keep kind of going back and forth in this kind of track. So you keep going up and down and kind of like this in this graph, if you will, and then there'll be a confidence level. And the NCLEX, it's typically a 95% confidence level. So if this is the line, so what this means is that if the computer can determine with a 95% confidence level that if they kept asking you questions that you would be at or below that line, then the question will shut off. So if it's 95% confident that you'll be above that line, you'll pass. If it's 95% confident that you'll be below that line, then you'll fail. I think if you look at the typical NCLEX passing rate from the National Council of the State Board of Nursing's website, it's a bit above 80% for both the NCLEX RN and then the NCLEX PN. So most students are going to pass the exam than actually fail. That doesn't take away the fact that, it is still you'd be looking at probably roughly about 50% that's gonna fail. And that's a decent amount, especially if you've put in a lot of time and energy, resources, money into a program. So I'm not kind of like, dismissing that 15%, if you will, that are going to potentially fail, but I'm just saying that as a whole, most people are going to end up passing. So because of, kind of like how the NCLEX is scored with this computer adaptive testing, or CAT, for short. So once you've answered the minimum number of questions that they do have said, which is currently at 75, then you do have an opportunity for that to come and play. I've mentioned before in a previous video, which I'll link above, that I think most nursing students are too obsessed with this minimum number of questions, and I think that can potentially cause a whole lot of issues for them during testing, especially if you're somebody who has like really high test anxiety. And so I won't go into the whole spiel. I already made a video about that you can definitely go check out. But I think the main thing to really focus on is, how do you become successful with the NCLEX, regardless of what the number is, 75, 80, 90, whatever the questions you get. The end result is passing and being able to get your license. So how do you become successful with that? Well, a couple things is probably considering either a tutor as well for the NCLEX, which you can go to. These are all affiliate links, I should mention ahead of time. And so you can go to nursemoneytalk.com/tutor. You'll get on a platform to where you can then find a tutor to help you study for the NCLEX. You can also look at potentially like an NCLEX prep course as well, which you can check one out in particular that I'm at the moment really liking at nursemoneytalk.com/NCLEX prep. And so that's nursemoneytalk.com/NCLEX prep. And so, like I already mentioned, those are affiliate links. I might get a commission if you do make a purchase. But I think it's really important to have a solid game plan, and either with a good tutor or a good NCLEX prep course, I think those can really help in terms of being able to kind of give you a solid game plan to be successful. In the next video that you'll see that'll show up over here to my left, you'll see some other videos that we have about the NCLEX, how to study for the NCLEX, and how to be successful when you are dealing with the NCLEX. Because at the end of the day, like I've stated before on several occasions, the degree itself really doesn't have much value, in my opinion, without the licensure that accompanies that nursing degree. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you very soon in that next one.